My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm talking about something that is very fascinating to me. And it's not just me, because I've seen a lot of inspiration from other people's channels and just life of listening to folks talk about something to do to be able to help you out. And something to do is, in reality, almost every one of my videos I've ever done is being outside. I got a couple in the house. And those couple in the house, in reality, that's just not what me inside of me believes that brings us humans the comfort that we think it does. We live in this world where a beautiful place like this, I've been trying to go to all kinds of new areas, found me a new park here, that this place is just, this is just open. This is just vast. This is just like abundance to see how much is actually here. And this is tiny compared to what we have as a total in reality on this world to be able to use and utilize. We're constantly putting ourselves on top of each other. And in my opinion, I believe that that's by design to make sure that we don't know how to actually be able to, oh, go that way, girl, to actually be able to know what it is that we want and what it is that we desire. It's easy. Oh, we're going this way, guys. Hopefully I don't get lost because I'm on something completely new today. We'll figure it out. It seems like it's decently marked where to go. But it seems like everything that's going on is to get us to get away from nature, to get into these boxes or what our houses are. And straight up, I don't care how big of a mansion you have or how small of a, literally, you're living in a box right now. We're forcing ourselves away from being able to understand who we are. And that's something that I've always been studying because it's the problem that I've had with my own self. Of asking that question, who am I? What do I want? Man, that video, I just said that, those few words, and it's really getting me to think a lot these past couple of days since I just said that. What do you want? And I'm always still out here trying to, I don't ever want to speak as if I got it all figured out. I'm not that sort of authority figure ever I would want to be in life. I'm not that some sort of influencer figure that's ever going to say, I got it all figured out. Here we are. Everything's good. I just like to say things because it's stuff that I'm still dealing with. And stuff that I'm still dealing with is something that I realize has been able to get me to understand more of who I am when I get outside to be in what I feel like is the element of what we as humans should be more a part of, as opposed to forcing ourselves away from it. It's the biggest thing that today is going on with this identity crisis. We got an identity crisis today to the point that people don't even know what gender they are anymore. People don't even know if they're wanting to be a human being or mankind, like they want to be animals. We have, it's getting worse and worse, where I can say I've had a identity problem alone of just how people would treat and interact with me. Some people treat me like I'm the blackest guy on the planet. But then I'm like, hold on, my mom is white as can be. But then I can't be white because I don't look that. So it's like, what am I? I've been always treated strange ever since ever since I can remember. Because I never knew color until I was about, I think I was about four years old, asking my mama for a video game. I never knew, oh man, we got a left or right coming up. We're going right. Never knew anything about the differences of color. And then that's when in reality, that identity crisis in me started to kick in. Who am I? That identity crisis of what is it that I want to do? What actually brings me joy? Because in reality, everything around is telling me what I should do and how I should be and how I should sit there and don't speak, how I should only ask these kind of questions. And the biggest thing, oh my goodness, I get it. Some folks say this, but I don't like it. Me, my personal self is saying there's no or there are dumb questions. No, a question is a question you have to be able to clarify something that's going on with you. And if that person is thinking that you're saying a so-called stupid question, that person is got an ego check that they need to work on. There's no such thing as a dumb question. It comes all the way down to dog training school that I went to. They're teaching us how to put a collar on a dog. There's no dumb question. If you don't know, we got to show you how to do everything from complete ground up. That's one thing I do like. Outside of just obedience stuff in the dog school, it's a great for just understanding the animal itself and what we have and what we've gone through in the history about them, and just learning a lot about the dogs. And the biggest thing is that something that I could just know about the history of the dogs is they've always been doing stuff and being outside. And if that means the dogs are outside always doing stuff, that means that the humans were also outside doing stuff. We weren't in a home 18 hours a day. We were outside doing stuff. And the more and more and more we're getting to this point of being in the home and and being in these offices, the more that, again, we're just having these issues in all of society. I don't care what country you're even going to at this moment today. Like everything's going towards, I guess the main word I could say is consumerism for sure. Everybody's got to buy this and have this and drive this and have this kind of house and have this kind of leash and have this kind of, I mean, they sell these like $1,000 collars for dogs today. They are fancy looking, but it's like, what the heck? Like, that's just where we're headed to. And when we're doing that, it forces us to, in reality, have to go more towards those buildings, more towards the middle of the city, because we need more money to be able to keep buying the more stuff that we keep wanting. But if you finally just get out of that and get out and do something a little different and say, you know what, I'm fine with this old car, I'm driving, I'll make it happen. I'm fine with this smaller house, I'm fine, I'll make it happen. Everything that's smaller and simpler is going to make your life so much easier. Because the less that you have, the less that you have to keep up with. The less you got to keep up with, the less that you're going to have to keep on maintaining. And just the more, in reality, freedom you're going to be able to do something that you've always wanted to be able to do. But the biggest thing is, it's the pressure of what people put upon each of us, of you have to be like this and you have to act this way. And that's unfortunate, just what we're taught in school, because it's still wild to me. I mean, anybody look this up. The people that have done the most powerful things on this planet, like the most life-changing for others, even not only just themselves, but to like the life-changing things. These people aren't educated. They're not educated like we're educated today. But yet today, we don't have these like revolutionary ideas that are transforming millions and billions of people's lives. We're all just quick to, let me get my money and move on and move forward. It's not so much of a, oh man, we got a lot of left and rights. We can't get lost out here. No, we're going right again. We're just going to stick with the right path and see if we good. But the revolutionary idea is these people have like dropped out of elementary school and created something. Dropped out of, granted, some people didn't make it through high school, but they dropped out of college to just get off and do something that they need to do, that's inside of them to do. And it's almost like the more educated we are, the less we're actually looking to help each other. All we're doing is, in reality, just hurting each other, trying to create a new system or a new program or a new this or a new that, just to take one or two people's money. And the more one or two people's money you just keep taking, that's how you end up with in a good life. You're taking as opposed to giving. And that's really weird to me, because when I'm out here, just in these places I am, especially this place, it's quiet out here. It's weird that it's so quiet. I think it's the abundance of the trees compared to where the houses and roads, it's quiet out here. And I could hear so much more out here than I've heard in a long time. So my house is quiet, but this place is quiet. I want to camp out here one night. It's quiet. And I just see how everything is working with each other out here. Everything is working to make sure that everything is going to be able to be good to go. Because a lot of people, I think we get stuck in our brains of like, oh, the coyote is bad for eating all the bunnies and just how there's just that savageness that goes on. But it has to happen to make sure that we keep maintaining the order out here. But the main thing is everything is working in tune with everything to be able to make sure that everything is going to be able to keep on surviving and thriving. Once we as humans come in, it's like we are the ones that start to make things become extinct. If we would just leave it alone, it has a balance in it that everything just functions and flows and everything is okay again. We as humans come in and we start destroying all the water. We as humans come in and start destroying even clouds at this moment. Stuff is strange looking up there when you really just sit and look up. And when we come in and do it, that's what's going on, because it's like that's all that we're being force-fed to understand today, is how to just take and consume and just not really caring about what's coming after you, but just take everything that you want right now and forget the rest of the people. It's just all about me. It's almost like the more educated we are, the more we're in these bigger and bigger cities, the more we keep buying all this stuff, the more and more selfish we keep getting, as opposed to looking at a place like this here. At somebody, what's cool about this area is there's many parks around here that people have just donated. Like family owned this, because there's 3 that I've been to. This is one, I never knew this place was here. But a family, this was their land. And they just donated the land to be park use. They're not going to build no houses. They don't want to do it. They just want it to be a place for rights, a place for us, for folks to be able to come and just enjoy, just to have a good time. And that's what I get out of, go ahead. Come on. That's what I get when I come out here and be able to experience all this. Like, it's an absolute joy. And that's someone before saying, hey, I'm going to make I don't know what word to use there, but I don't know what's the word of opposite of selfish. But they could have been selfish and said, no, I'm going to sell it to this developer so I can make more money from it. No, they decided I'm going to keep it as it is so that more people could just actually enjoy and be able to see something that, like, stuff like this is starting to, I mean, it's still going to take, it won't be my or your lifetimes that the world is just all consumed and we don't have no more land. But at some point, it's going to get to that point that we're just going to keep going and 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 going. Right now, what do we have? 8, 7, 9 billion people in like 200 or 300 years. If we start having babies again, that's our issue right now, I guess. No one's having babies, but it'll get back in shape again where money will be better again and all that. And we're just going to double that. We're going to triple that. We're just going to keep going more and more and more and more and more and more. And then all this is just going to disappear. And that's the part of how we're no longer, I mean, in reality, I don't think we could even be able to make it that far because we're so focused on what you want and not caring about the future. And the more that we just keep doing that, the more that we're headed to absolute destruction. We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to gain anything. You yourself, you may have said your bill's paid right now, but who cares if your kids aren't able to have the same opportunity as you? And that's what's cool about being outside, because you start to see that and you start to understand that. And you start to understand, my opinion, just who you actually are and what you're actually all about. Because hard times and hard things are going to come to you. Challenges are going to come to you. You're going to have to start making some different type of decisions. And it's not so forgiving in reality if you're just like camping, living in a tent. You run out of water. What are you going to do? You run out of your shelter, something happens. You got bears run up on you. What are you going to do? Like, you got to make some decisions. Then you're going to figure out more of who you are. That's why for me, I really like running these races. Because, man, I just talked to a guy yesterday along the trail that says something very fascinating. He's like, I don't understand why these people sign up for all these long, hard races, because you get in the middle of it, you're hating life, you can't stand it, you just want to quit, you want to give up, and then you finish, and then you're like, yep, let me sign up for the next one. And I'm like, man, that's my same mindset. I get on that starting line of a race knowing that this is going to be hard, and it's all cool and exciting at first, but then in the middle of that race, you start to realize, like, who you are. It's out for display. How tough are you? How much you're gonna just keep on going, regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of what you think, even regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on with your body. You just keep going and going and going and going and pushing and pushing and pushing. And you get to that point, you're like, I'm tired. And I'm gonna tell you now, you're not tired yet. The moment that you think that you're tired, and then you get to that second part again, you're like, man, I'm tired now. And I'm telling you, you're still not tired at that moment. You still have a lot more that you can still keep going. And then when you're on that third time again, you're like, oh, now it is. I need a water break. I need to sit down. You're still not quite tired. You still have a lot to still keep going. Most people give up on that first instance when you're like, oh, I'm a little tired. And you just quit. And you don't push past that. And that's that weirdness about, in reality, getting, where I'd say, is kind of getting addicted to these races. And these long distance things and these long challenges and these long times of just being out in the trees and the woods and your feet get hurt and you just keep going, because you learn about who you are in the middle of it all. And then after every single time that you do that, you start to realize more of what you're actually capable of. That when you're like, no, I'm tired and I'm hurting, and you actually push through that, you learn more about what's inside of you that makes who you are, as opposed to just giving up. Because most people today, we just give up because we're not putting ourselves in, like I said, the challenge of what we should be doing. We're so quick to just want to take that said easy option. Oh, I just watch TV all day and let me just do that. As opposed to like, shut it off. People always say to me, granted, I don't work a regular 9-to-5 time job like that, but I watch my parents do it. And my parents didn't work no 9-to-5. They worked like a 3 to, so they got off at like 2. So they're working from basically 2 in the morning to about 2 o'clock, sometimes 3 in the morning to 2 o'clock. And they still had time to take us to track practice for 2-3 hours a day in reality. They still had time to help us with homework and stuff like that. And they still had time for them to just be able to sit down and watch a little bit of television. We had all that still in there. It all still happened. But nowadays people say, oh, we don't have enough time to do all that. We can't make that happen. No, it's just a matter of what you want to be able to put towards what you're doing with your time. Not something of you don't have the time. No, you have the time. You just don't want to push yourself to have to use your time in a way that's going to challenge you. You want to just take that easy route. Oh, come on, Kai. You just want to take that easy route. I'm sorry, man. Well, this place is kind of, a lot of these places I want to follow the rules. It's a claim to all dogs got to be on leash. So I just follow their rules out here. And I prefer him to just smell and run and do what he do. But, you know, I gotta follow the rules, because one person messes something up. Now the rest of us have to deal with it. One person's dog probably did something to someone, and now everybody does all the rules for everybody. It's fascinating how society works. But it is what it is. I live in it. I don't create it, and it's not mine. So I got to just follow along with what people tell me to do. But it's a matter of getting up and actually challenging yourself, as opposed to just taking that easy route. That easy route is what I believe is starting to be shown to a lot of people today. There's something, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are on their little spiritual and the woo-hoos and all this extra stuff, just stuff that, hold on, she's gotta go potty. And just stuff that people talking about, people have these spiritual awakenings, all this stuff. I don't believe that's the case at all. That stuff is just I don't know how to say this other than just the words that I just want to use with it. And I'm probably going to offend somebody by saying these words that I'm about to say right now, but it just is what it is, because someone could say the same towards me, but whatever. But that stuff is like real witchy in a way. It's real crafty in trying to make you like seem as you're like some sort of mystic or something special, because you can you're opening your eyes to be able to see more. No, I believe that we're just seeing a change go on, because I come from a biblical stance here. I see a change going on because something's happening that we have no choice but to have to elevate, or we're all just going to disappear. We're all we're not going to make it. Something has to happen that we're not going to make it, because if we just keep on this route of how we're doing right now, with always just worried about what can I get, what can I have, not worrying about how can I help you, what can I do for you, we're going to end up, we're not going to make it. And that's something that is really fascinating with seeing these dogs. I don't understand how A is supposed to only go one way and it keeps giving me an A to go two different directions. I'm definitely not I need more experience. I need to take like a map guide. We did that stuff in the Army. I forgot what they call it. That land surveying. Man, what do they call that stuff? I need to figure out how to read a map a little more efficiently. I got one on me, but I don't think I even know how to follow it in reality. A land navigation, that's what I need. But we're not going to make it. And that's something that I could just see with these dogs, is why so many of us are struggling with these dogs, because we're so worried about what is it going to do for me? What am I going to get from it? You got to do and not really caring about it. So there's a big shift going on, in my opinion, why it's almost like all of a sudden a huge explosion of, I don't know why, but literally it was like overnight that one day I'm sitting here seeing dogs, and then the next day I'm seeing them all look crazy as all can be, just barking and lunging and just wild. It was like a huge explosion just went off. And some people are gonna claim, put blame on like the COVID. Oh, it was the COVID dogs. We didn't this and we didn't that. I don't believe that it's been doing that since before then even. But it's just each year just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And what keeps gaining more is, in reality, the one thing that I really, if you're struggling with your dog, I'd really just recommend get away from traditional dog training stuff, because the more crazy these dogs keep getting, the more dog training stuff keeps like getting pushed out to the public. And in reality, that's only just, in my opinion, making it worse and worse and worse, because we're trying to apply more of that aspect of, you better do what I tell you to do because I said so. And that's what we are all becoming as a human being. And that's where we're not understanding who we are, because that's not who we are. That's what us as society is trying to pressure all of us to be like. And that's how it's easy for us to start to want to just keep on fighting and bickering and battling with each other, as opposed to looking at each other and say, I don't agree with you, but we can still work this out. We can still do this. We can still make something happen. Whereas nowadays, it's to the point of, depending on what your political stance is, you in reality kind of want to see. I mean, I've seen videos where people are like, I straight up, what the heck is that? It must be a bobcat. That kind of looks like a mountain lion. That was big. You definitely need some protection on you out here. You're gonna sleep out here. There's some mountain lions around. You're gonna get snatched up. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of half distracted out here because this is fascinating now. You're so quiet. It's weird how it's so quiet. But we're acting like what society is trying to make us to be, as opposed to who we actually truly are. Really caring for each other, really compassionate towards each other. It's really just forgiving towards each other. Really just wanting to see the best in each other. And we're not doing that anymore. We're completely against that at this moment today, and it's really weird because it even comes down to some folks, even with your like sports stuff. You're like, I'm not even gonna say sports names, teams, because I don't even really know them because I don't want to mess it up. I sound stupid sometimes, but I don't want to sound too stupid with I don't know nothing about sports. But some people can be like somebody from there we go. Somebody from Chicago can be like, my team is the best, and somebody from Dallas is like, no, my team is the best, and that they can't even like have any sort of communication because their sports team is the one. I hope I got that somewhat right. Their sports team is like their God essentially. Like, and if you don't believe in that, then we can't do anything with each other. That's a absolutely horrible way for us to be living, and that's how we're living. And in reality, more of that is what we're doing today. We're staying indoors more and more. We're not outside. We're not out just hearing something to be quiet for once. We're not outside getting the sun beating on us. Like, this trail is nice, but this isn't a trail for the average person to walk on a summer day because this would be hot. There's not much shade out here. But there's something about just pushing yourself through that and experience that just, it does something to you. It changes your perspective on the world with everything that you're doing on your day to day, of realizing how not important a lot of things that you think are important are. It just relaxes you. I don't know how to explain it. That's the number one thing that I made a radical change of getting out and doing stuff, getting outside and just making it happen. And I started seeing things just keep getting better and better and better. And then nowadays, now that I'm even upgrading that experience to doing even more of something that me personally I enjoy, which is the running part of it, that I granted a lot of people don't really care for that. And it just really is just changing so much in me to just calm me down and give me what it is that I'm in reality looking for. And that's the part with me that I understand that, because that's what I've focused a lot of my energy on with working with these dogs, is seeing that they're just wild. And then I started to just give them that work, that exercise, that game, that play, that just chance to just run and be free and have fun and do what they do. And I start to see them just get better and better. And I'm like, if I can get the dog like that, then I could definitely get my own self there too as well. When I see that the dogs are anxious and nervous and worried, and I could just give them what they need. Say, hey, buddy, I got you. I got your back. And you push them through that, and I see them just get better. I'm like, I got to do this with my own self. I have to be about this. And now I'm doing it my own way. It's like, I don't know how to, some folks say, exercise and you'll be better. But in my opinion, it's the exercise outside. It's the walking around outside. It's the being and doing something outside. It's standing by some water. It's standing next to a tree. It's just going outside and doing stuff. And that's the number one way that I know for a fact how to get a nice dog. You take it outside and do stuff with it, and you're going to see something absolutely incredible. But instead, what we're doing today is only caring about ourselves and how we feel and what we want and what we desire, and not what someone else or something else is needing. That's another big key part to it. And that's something that, for whatever reason, I just want more people to just start to implement a little bit each day. Is literally, I know a lot of y'all got these fancy houses in these fancy neighborhoods in these fancy parts of town. Just sit on your, wow, that is a massive house. I don't know if you see it. I'm just talking about fancy houses. This thing is huge. This thing looks like a, I don't even know what it looks like. That thing is ginormous. Just sit on your patio. And I can hear they dogs barking at me. Oh, man, that thing is just ridiculously huge. Just sit out on the patio for 10 minutes today and just sit there. That might be too long for a lot of people. For 3 minutes, just sit outside, no phone, no TV, just hang out with your dog and just stay outside and just hang out and just see what comes and see what happens. Because that's something that is just, it starts to change you. I'm telling you, it does. I don't know why, but it just does. Because it's what we actually are, is part of these lands that we're running away from it. And we're running away from, who knows why, something's trying to make us run away from it. It almost seems like that's what school and everything just keeps doing to us. Keeps telling us who we need to keep going to more school, to keep doing this, to keep staying in the spacey system of like, keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. A person like me that really doesn't buy anything, nobody likes me. These companies don't like me. They're always trying to sell it, put ads to me, and I just don't buy anything. I don't buy nothing. That's why people don't even send ads to me. I don't even get junk mail in the mail anymore. To like try to buy this and we're selling this, because I've never bought and I don't buy and I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. But that's like kind of like what they want us to be in. And that is just really limiting us in reality of who we are, because it just forces us to have to be them as opposed to being you. Because the more that you just get out and just do and hang out, the more you're going to understand what it is that you actually want. The more you shut it all down, shut the TV off, shut the music off, shut the book off even, shut it all off and just stay in complete silence, the more you're going to figure out exactly what you're all about. Thank you. So I think I found myself a new running trail. I need a running trail on dirt that's not too complicated for me and this Dalmatian to get some practice on doing hard runs. This loop is supposed to be just shy under 7 miles. So we might have to run it twice. But hey girl, this man, something. How's it A and A? A. I hope I'm not lost, but I keep seeing signs, so we'd be all right. There's something about just going to new places even and just exploring and moving around and looking around. It's the coolest. It's the coolest of the coolest. Even if you can't do it on a day-to-day, even if you can't even do it on a week, have one day a month to just say, we're gonna go here and we're gonna do something. This is something that I definitely know. I don't know how far and how long though, but I know that dogs definitely have a good memory of we've been there and we did that. Even if it's just once a month, that could be something to transform your dog and yours lives. Looking forward to that you're gonna do that adventure thing on that day or on that place. You drive there and you're gonna watch your dog get super excited to just be able to go out and explore something new and be able to sniff something new and be a part of where we came from. You know, we came from living out here. Now we're all in these houses that have all this air conditioning, and we're making it worse by adding the HVAC systems, because now all our houses have like mold issues that we try to say they don't, but as soon as you seal in a house and you put an HVAC system in it, your mold growth is going to happen. So we're all living in these houses and just breathing in just mold all day, all night. And the more that you spend time in these buildings, the more you're just breathing it in all day. That can't be good for it can't be good for us. And a lot of these office buildings, we try to put this fake look on them, but there's growth of stuff going on behind the walls that we can't see. And me working in houses before, doing a lot of painting and stuff, I don't think I've ever been in a house that I didn't find some sort of mold growth behind the wall. It's all in there, and it's just getting worse and worse because we're trying to be more and more comfortable. The more comfortable we are, in reality, worse off that we're becoming. The more you just put a little bit of a challenge to your life, you're gonna actually see things get better. I don't know why, but it just is what it is.